In just a few years, Rema has gone from "who be this boy" to being a global superstar, breaking records, selling out arenas, and making people rethink their Spotify choices. His smash hit "Calm Down" featuring Selena Gomez became the first Afrobeat song to hit 1 billion streams on Spotify. A flex so insane that even his predecessors are low-key side-eyeing him. He toured America, he toured Europe, and he toured India as well.
You have girlfriends?
No. I don't have a girlfriend. No.
You're such a huge star, man. What are you doing? You're wasting your time.
The same country that Nigerians were trying to mock him about way back in 2019 when he first came out. He flips these jokes and he made the record so big that he ended up touring the country. But most importantly, he took the good news of Afrobeats to an entire different part of the world. But we all know that with great success comes African aunties and uncles with their WhatsApp conspiracy theories. And in Rema's case, the biggest accusations are that he practices witchcraft, he worships the devil, and that generally he has used jazz to blow.
You cannot go and listen to Rema and then call yourself a Christian. No, absolutely not. I truly don't understand why we have to go this dark, demonic route.
As Rema actually contributed to these accusations, in this video I deep dive into the career of Rema and most importantly the history behind his beliefs.
Line it up all the way up top, like this bitch up.
November 14, 2023 is a night to remember in Afrobeats history. Rema shut down the O2 Arena, 20,000 capacity, all sold out. But something that stood out for many was his grand entrance. It was iconic and he came in like a superstar that he is. But most importantly, there was a lot of symbolism in it. And apparently, not everyone was feeling the vibes. Because shortly after the event, we started seeing videos like this circulate.
Rema's concert, demonic? Rema's latest concert had many people frightened, scared to death, and disturbed by the demonic energy at the show. There was so much uproar, even BBC News did a story on it.
Others were not sure, with some even calling the show demonic.
Essentially, people accusing Rema of witchcraft. And so to deep dive into this, I took a trip to the British Museum here in the city of London. Now, if you've never been to this museum, I'll describe it to you. It's pretty much a collection of things that do not belong to Britain, but then they're housing it in this building called the British Museum.
This is the British Museum. It's the world's largest world history museum, and it draws millions of visitors every year. Inside, it holds more than 8 million cultural and historical artifacts from all over the world.
Over 8 million artifacts from all around the world. From Egypt to Greece to China, but as it concerns this video, from Nigeria.
I'm about to take you guys with me to the Africa section of the British Museum, so let's do this.
How exactly did they get all of these artifacts? Many of them were gotten through different ways, but one very common way was through actual stealing with violence. And this brings us to the Benin Kingdom. You see, hundreds of years ago, the Benin Kingdom was not just a city in Nigeria. It was an entire kingdom, a very powerful one to reckon with at the time. And at the time as well, it covered a wider landmass than it currently does now. The people were elites with bronze sculptures, politically sophisticated, and they were deeply spiritual people. And they often traded with the British, palm oil, spices, and they also traded with them arts and culture. But as history has proven time and time again, when the British see something nice that they want, they don't ask for it, they take it. So in 1897, right, they pulled up with guns, looted the entire kingdom, and took away thousands and thousands of priceless artifacts.
The British soldiers, armed with machine guns, conquered the city and burned it to the ground, but not before carefully taking thousands of artifacts. They piled them up neatly, photographed them, and even labeled them loot. This photo, taken at the Benin Palace after the raid, shows soldiers with the dismantled plaques that were brought to the British Museum and sold all over the world.
Around that time, the British and the rest of the European powers had divided the entire current-day Africa. They divided it among themselves.
European colonial powers were expanding south in what was called the Scramble for Africa. They split up the continent into spheres of influence for financial exploitation. All these pink areas were the British ones. Benin, over here, was in Britain's sphere of influence. But the kingdom didn't comply with Britain's trade demands.
They said, okay, you France, you take this one. Germany, you take this one. We British take this one. And then the next step was then for them to strategically enter these places, and whether by force or otherwise, they would ensure that these people surrender. And as part of their plans to do this, they entered the Benin kingdom, strategically caused the ruse, and instigated a fight. And this fight was what led to the capturing of the region, while all of these arts and artifacts were carted away to the west.
And after hundreds of years, the once prosperous kingdom was gone. The region fell under full British colonial control until 1960, when Nigeria, including the city of Benin, gained independence.
So what exactly does this have to do with Rema?
That I worship the devil. They say I worship the devil. It's crazy.
More than you think. Just stay with me. We're going to get there. So Rema appeared on the stage with a horse. Let's talk about that. You see, in the Benin culture, the horse is a symbol of royal and military strength. The Oba of Benin and his warriors rode horses into battles, and in many Benin bronzes we would see Benin warriors on the back of horses, which pretty much signified strength. Rema didn't just ride a horse, he sat on a stationary one. This was an actual reference to an actual Benin artifact, the horse and rider sculpture. Now let's go to the mask that he wore.
You see this mask that I'm standing next to? Is that of Queen Idia?
And she wasn't just a queen. She was a warrior, a strategist, and a spiritual leader. And that mask right there is one of the most iconic symbols from the Kingdom of Benin. And Rema wearing that mask was not just for aesthetics. It was a statement, a callback to history, a reminder that the Benin legacy still lives till today. You see, these artifacts were created centuries ago, and at the time they were considered to be far ahead of their time in terms of the artistic approach and the technology that was required to make those types of works. As a matter of fact, when the British first saw them, they were so shocked. They thought, nah man, Africans couldn't have made this. Those people are disrespectful. I mean, imagine being so good at something that people would be like, nah, you couldn't have made this. Maybe you used juju to make it. I think where things get really funny is that after all of these things were stolen from the Kingdom of Benin, the Western scholars would turn around and term these things as pagan, savage, demonic, and what have you. But yet they've been preserving them for over 100 years. You'll probably be wondering if Rema himself has addressed some of these accusations and rumor before. He has quite a few times.
That I worship the devil. They say I worship the devil.
Do you ever feel like responding to those things?
No, it's not really important. I just feel like it's a waste of time. The colors me and my team use, and people are just scared about red. It's just, yo, it's red. You see a beautiful lady on a red dress, you won't call her a devil, right?
Of course.
But why you gotta call me a devil? Because my culture, which is Benin City, because they don't understand it, they just label it devilish. It's literally just one Google away.
Straight
like
up.
one Google search away. It's just like, but they just want me to explain it, and it's a waste of time. I do the music, do the videos, do the creative direction, and still come and explain it to you? Hell no. That's why it's art. You see it, you make a meaning for yourself. If you call it the devil, bless.
At some point he tweeted, "Day one ravers, please assist me in informing the new ravers that I've been on this bat shit for a long time. You'd have so much more clarity if you could Google where I'm from, what the key color of my ancestry are, and what flies in Benin skies every evening," in reference to the bats that we have seen a lot in his videos, and also the bats that he flew on at the O2. He would also further tweet that all this Illuminati nonsense is nonsense. I worked too hard to make my art for you to glorify some wicked garbage. It's dead now. Jesus is king. In other words, he said make gonna free him. Till today, activists and historians have been fighting for the return of these artifacts. Some of them have succeeded, many have not. Another thing that you need to know is that these works are not just here in the UK. I've been around a few museums across Europe like France, Belgium, and personally I've seen artifacts that were stolen from Nigeria, present day Nigeria. And so Rema's performance was not just a concert. It was a statement, a reclamation, and a reminder. And that's probably why it made some people uncomfortable. Because Afrobeats is great, and with it, a few people like Rema are challenging the Western narratives and reminding the world about where we are from. And he made it clear in his own words. My ancestors' bronzes sit in the museum of this city, so I remade mine. Hence, Edo is redefined. The map reshaped, your minds awakened, and the mask reborn. So let me know what you think. Do you believe that Rema has properly captured his culture? Do you think that Western museums should still be holding African artifacts? Let's discuss in the comments. Till next time, my name is Yemi Oladakbo. This is my channel. I make videos about the Nigerian pop culture, the music industry, the African creative scene, and just generally things that intrigue me. If you'd like to be a part of this growing community, I need you to smash the subscribe button. And this is a part of my series where I explore the city of London and find connections between Nigerian pop culture and this part of the world.